Why? Why would you give me this desire if it's just gonna be repeated deaths? Like, it just felt horrible.
Sophie Rund still gets emotional when she thinks back on the hardships she and her husband Joe have endured. They had dreams of having a large family, but an ultrasound revealed Sophie had stage 4 endometriosis, a disease in the uterus causing cysts, scar tissue, and infertility.
This is something that she'll have her entire life, and from that diagnosis, both understood that, the life that we ourselves had planned was going to look a little different. I remember coming home to her parents' house, actually, and we just went up to her room and both just cried for hours. Just not really knowing, what the future was going to hold.
Sophie had laparoscopic surgery to remove the cysts in her uterus, which would make getting pregnant a possibility.
So I had family and friends praying for me through that. When the surgery came, I just knew that it was gonna be a doorway to ultimately a family. So I was like, I'll do anything. I had the surgery and it was super successful.
4 months after surgery, Sophie was pregnant. They soon welcomed their son Brooks into the world.
The labor and delivery and even the whole pregnancy was just amazing. The process was so smooth and quick, and just in awe of the perfect little 7-pound guy.
Hoping their troubles were behind them, they soon tried to have a second child. Unfortunately, a series of miscarriages dampened their hopes for adding to their family.
I just remember just laying on my bathroom floor, just pretty hopeless. To know that that can be a repeated thing was just how do I really move on?
They returned to her doctor for another exam. Now more bad news. The endometriosis had returned and was worse than before. Cysts and a blocked fallopian tube made getting pregnant impossible.
I was just a mess, and I went upstairs and I just laid flat on my face. And I was like, Lord, I today am giving this to you. This was a change of heart. Almost my desire for Jesus and what he wanted became bigger than my desire for a big family. In that moment, I got up and I just saw the world differently. And I still, I've never gone back.
They planned to start in vitro fertilization, which would require Sophie to have her fallopian tubes removed, preventing her ability to conceive naturally. Once again, they asked for prayer from friends and family. Then a Christian friend shared a dream she'd had about Sophie.
The dream was that my sister and I were pregnant together, and she's like, you were really close. We were celebrating with our family and friends. We had a big baby shower, and we were just big and pregnant together. And I was like, that gave me hope. I'm like, well, maybe IVF will work the first time and we'll get to be pregnant together.
With a renewed sense of hope, they scheduled the IVF procedure. Then, the night before the surgery,
you know what? I'm just gonna take a pregnancy test because you just never know. I had seen so many negative tests and I'm like, I know it'll be negative, but just wanna rule it out. And I looked down and I was like, oh my, it was the most positive pregnancy test. I was like, oh my, I screamed, I woke up the whole house. I was supposed to be at the hospital 5 hours later to report in for surgery. And I was like, well, oh my God. And I truly, based on the ultrasound, this was impossible. It looked impossible.
Then at her next ultrasound, Sophie was given miraculous confirmation regarding the cysts and blocked fallopian tube.
I see in your chart that you had those, and I'm not seeing any on your, she's like, you're over it, everything looks great and normal. And I'm like, oh my, and Joe was with me and I'm just looking at him. She could even tell the side the baby implanted on, which was the side that was blocked, my left side. And so it was just that, after that scan, I remember, that was at 8 weeks, I remember being like, this is a true miracle. The cysts are gone. These have to be surgically removed. They don't just go away.
Months later, Sophie delivered Palmer Hope, a healthy baby girl. Today, she is a reminder that God still performs miracles and hears the cries of our hearts.
I remember when we locked eyes for the first time, and it was just she instantly calmed, and I just felt like I had known her forever. Like, it was just I'll never forget that moment. It was such a special moment, and I have treasured every single day with her.
I think what both Sophie and I learned is, just to put our trust, put our hope in the Lord, and, He's blessed us tremendously.
The fact that He cares about me and my life that much. Like, I'm just so thankful that He healed me and brought me these two beautiful babies. Like, I cannot believe it.
Really just a reminder every time we look at her, her laugh, her giggle, that's the Lord, and that's the gift that He's given us, thankfully, to love and cherish for the rest of our lives.
I'm just so thankful every day. And I've just seen the goodness of the Lord so tangibly that it has just changed my life forever.